All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today's question, it comes up a lot. Top 5 reasons to adopt the cloud and the top 3 concerns. You know, the biggies.
Yeah, it's kind of like imagine walking straight into Ashton's office, our cloud enablement lead, and just throwing that at him.
Right. But lucky for you, you have us. And we've actually been looking at a ton of stuff. I mean, even like presentations from AWS experts to really nail this down.
Oh, yeah, and like before you even ask, we know security, right? Top of mind. But there's this cool way to think about cloud migration. It's almost like building a secure fortress. We'll explain.
Okay, I like where this is going. So how do we build this cloud fortress?
Well, like any good fortress, you need a blueprint, a really solid one. And that's where the AWS well-architected framework comes in. Imagine, we have this master architect, right? We'll call her Anya. She's guiding us through the whole thing. And Anya, she relies on 7 key pillars, to make sure this fortress is the best it can be.
Okay, 7 pillars. Wow. All right, break those down for me. What's the first one?
The first one is operational excellence. So think of it like having a well-oiled machine running your fortress. Automation, quick recovery from, any hiccups, and always finding ways to improve things. That's operational excellence in a nutshell.
Gotcha. So making sure everything runs smooth. Okay, what's next?
Next, and probably no surprise here, is security. Protecting your data and systems, right? It's like paramount. Strong access controls, encryption, the whole 9 yards. It's all about that impenetrable defense.
Yeah, security. Big one, for sure. What else is Anya thinking about?
Reliability. Huge. You want your fortress, to withstand anything, right?
Yeah.
So Anya builds in fault tolerance, making sure it can recover fast from failures and that it can scale up its defenses as needed.
Okay, so no matter what you throw at it, the fortress can take it. Makes sense. What's next?
Performance efficiency. So it's not just about being powerful, right? It's about being smart with resources. Anya would make sure your fortress is optimized. So using the right tools and techniques to be strong, yeah, but also efficient. It's like, imagine a super fast drawbridge, but it doesn't waste any energy.
So being strategic with how it all operates. What's the 5th pillar then?
Cost optimization. Now we know moving to the cloud, it can seem, expensive. So Anya is all about making sure you're spending wisely, think pay-as-you-go models, reserved instances, and constantly looking for ways to cut costs without compromising security.
Right, because cost is definitely top concern. It's good to know there are ways to manage that.
Yeah.
What are the last 2 Anya would consider?
Okay, so what's really interesting is that the well-architected framework, they've actually added sustainability recently. Like Anya, she's forward-thinking. She wouldn't just build a secure and efficient fortress. She'd also think about the environmental impact.
That's awesome. It shows how the cloud's evolving, going beyond just the tech. What's the final pillar?
That one is all about performance efficiency, making sure your fortress can keep up as technology changes. Anya would want your cloud fortress to be, future-proof.
Okay, so we've got our 7 pillars, the blueprint, right, for our cloud fortress. But why even build one in the first place? Let's get into those top 5 reasons why people are actually adopting the cloud.
Exactly. Let's dive into why people are choosing to make the move. And I think Anya's blueprint, it can help us illustrate those reasons.
Perfect. I'm ready.
All right, so let's kick things off with, one of the biggest drivers, cost savings. Think about it. Maintaining a traditional data center, all that hardware, all that upkeep, it's a fortune, right? It's like Anya trying to keep this massive old fortress running with all these outdated defenses. But moving to the cloud, that lets you switch from CapEx to OpEx.
Okay, kind of lost me there. CapEx, OpEx, what are those?
Right, of course. CapEx. That's capital expenditure. It's like that huge upfront investment, buying all the equipment for your fortress. OpEx, operational expenditure, that's more like paying for the upkeep, the resources as you use them. And the cloud, it lets you skip those massive upfront costs.
So it's more like instead of buying a house, I'm renting one. I only pay for what I use.
Exactly, and Anya would love that, right? The cloud also lets you right-size your resources, meaning you only pay for the computing power you actually need at any given time.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about saving money up front. It's also being more efficient with your spending over time. Okay, so what's another reason companies are jumping in?
Scalability and elasticity. Huge. The cloud lets you easily adjust your computing resources as, your needs change. Imagine Anya, she needs to ramp up her defenses quickly, right?
Well-
Again, some sudden threat, she can do that like instantly in the cloud. It's like her fortress can magically, I don't know, expand its walls and defenses when needed.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. So no more worrying about like systems crashing because of a sudden spike in traffic or demand. What else? What's next on our list?
Increased agility and speed. Back in the day, deploying new apps, updates, it could take weeks, months even. But in the cloud, you can automate like a lot of that and spin up new resources in minutes.
Hold on. So if Anya wanted to roll out like a totally new defense system, she could do it way faster in the cloud.
You got it. And that speed and agility, it translates to a faster time to market, for new products and services. Like having a secret passage in Anya's fortress lets her, deploy troops instantly wherever they're needed.
Okay, I'm starting to see why everyone's like going for the cloud.
Yeah.
But security, still a big question mark, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you should be concerned, yeah. But here's the thing. The cloud, when it's done right, it can actually be more secure than traditional on-premise stuff.
Wait, really? How is that even possible?
Think about like the resources AWS puts into security. They have teams of experts, cutting-edge tech, all dedicated to protecting their infrastructure. It's like Anya's fortress having like a whole army of cybersecurity people just constantly patrolling the walls.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But what about like the data and apps inside the cloud? Who's responsible for securing that?
That's where the shared responsibility model comes in. AWS, they secure the underlying infrastructure, like the physical walls, the guards at the gate. But you, the customer, you're responsible for securing what's inside your fortress.
So it's a partnership. AWS provides the secure foundation, and I got to like lock up my valuables inside.
Precisely, and that model, it gives you a lot of control over your security. You can use AWS's security services, their best practices, to build a fortress that's perfect for your needs, right?
That makes me feel a bit better about security in the cloud. What's the last big reason on our list?
Global reach and accessibility. With the cloud, you can deploy your applications, your data in multiple regions all around the world, meaning you can deliver content faster to users wherever they are.
So if Anya wants to like expand her fortress globally, she could just set up these like outposts in key locations.
Exactly. It's like having this network of interconnected fortresses, each one like optimized for its region. Not only does this improve performance, but it also boosts redundancy and disaster recovery.
So to recap then, our top 5 reasons to adopt the cloud.
Yeah.
Cost savings, scalability and elasticity, increased agility, enhanced security, and global reach. I mean, those are pretty good arguments. But what about the concerns, the top 3? Let's get into those.
Okay, so let's face these top 3 concerns. I bet you can already guess number 1.
Security.
Yeah, exactly. It's understandable, right? Feeling a little uneasy about putting, your precious data in the cloud. It's valid for sure. But as we talked about, AWS, they have like really, really strong security measures in place. And that shared responsibility model, it helps a lot. It clarifies who's got to do what. It's like, think of it this way. AWS, they give you the high walls, the moat, the guards, the whole thing. But you got to make sure like the jewels inside your fortress, they're locked up tight.
Right. So it's a team effort, basically. But what about like the cost? I know a lot of companies worry about those surprise expenses, losing control of their spending in the cloud.
Oh, totally. It's a common one. But Anya, our master architect, remember, she wouldn't just like build a fortress without a budget, right? The cloud actually gives you a ton of tools to manage and optimize costs.
So like how do you actually keep those costs under control?
Well, AWS has these cost management tools, like AWS Cost Explorer, for example, that lets you, track your spending in real time. You can even set up like budgets and alerts so you don't get any nasty surprises.
Oh, that's handy. So you can like actually see where your money's going and make changes if you need to.
Okay, but what about like that whole vendor lock-in thing? Getting stuck with one cloud provider, that's kind of risky, right?
That's the third one, yeah. Vendor lock-in. It's like Anya builds her fortress and then realizes, oh no, I can only use this one type of brick and mortar. Nobody wants to feel trapped.
Right.
But you do have options.
So how do you avoid getting stuck with just one provider?
You can design your cloud architecture using open standards, and you can think about a multi-cloud approach. So that's using services from different providers. It's like Anya designs her fortress with these modular components, so she can like swap things out if she needs to. So you can mix and match. Gives you more flexibility, more peace of mind. Okay, so we've covered the top 5 reasons to adopt the cloud, the top 3 concerns, and we even had Anya and her fortress, helping us along the way. Any final thoughts for our listeners as they're, thinking about their own cloud journey?
Definitely. Remember, moving to the cloud, it's not just about like lifting and shifting your stuff. It's a chance to really rethink how you operate, to become more agile, to innovate faster. It's like Anya using this move to the cloud to build a better, more modern fortress. Think strategically, start small, and don't be afraid to, try things out, experiment along the way.
Excellent advice. It sounds like migrating to the cloud's a big decision, but with the right planning, the right approach, it can open up a ton of possibilities. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure. Happy building.